Alright guys, it's the end of 2024 and today we're going to be doing a review of all the submissions I hit this year. For the next submission up, we're going to work on a reverse triangle and a Tarikoplata and how I ended up putting both of the submissions together. So first attempt, what I was actually trying to do is a hop over armbar that I like doing whenever they're playing sit-up guard. What that means is I give my leg to Jason, but I block him from getting close. I use my forearm to push him away. That way his chest to knee connection is not there and this is loose, okay? I will have a lot of space in the end. But when they're pulling in and trying to get close, I'm pushing him away, pushing him away. When I'm ready, I'm gonna reach towards the pinky here, okay? Grabbing his hand. I grab right there on the base of the hand. And then from here, I'm pulling him into me, okay? Head and hand, both are gonna get pulled. And I'm going to bring my foot up off the ground for a second. And then I hop over and I usually go towards the armbar. Now, what happened in that specific situation is I overshot it, and I think my opponent also flinched. Instead of laying back and pulling away, he just kind of tucked his head for a second when he saw me jump. All right, so what happened is when I shot it, I ended up overshooting it, and he flinched, and then I ended up going over his head. So last minute, all I did was switch the bite, pulling my leg, pulling his elbow, and then eventually locking up the reverse triangle. Now, if I want to finish the reverse triangle, what I usually try to do is pull his elbow behind his head here. He's very flexible in that case. Sometimes they don't feel it, or sometimes my hips are too high. If I was to be a little bit lower and behind his shoulder with my hips, then I have a little bit more of a pull, okay, and it hurts their shoulder a little more. Now, when I'm sitting a little bit higher, his shoulder sits below my butt, and it does not crank the same, okay? It stops here. So in that case, I would have to go Kimura, and then twist it, and that will also hurt his shoulder. Does it hurt, Jason? All right, trust Jason, it's clicking, click. So whenever I'm turning here, I'm bringing his elbow to his ear. This one we actually learned from Josh, and I really like it. And I twist the wrist that way, okay? So it's a Kimura really, but the elbow extended up make it a lot worse. Okay? Now what happened in these situations when I went for it, he actually, as I was trying to adjust the triangle, he controlled his hands together, and then it was kind of like that. So I was able to lock it, but I wasn't able to actually get enough pressure to finish because this was protecting his neck a little bit. So in that case, when I realized that this wasn't working, I shot my arm through, and I made the switch towards the Tarikoplata. So my hand's gonna go all the way to my thigh, and my leg slides over and blocks the wrist. So again, I can go from here, and instead of even reopening, I can just open one leg instead, and then I'll just shrink out. So I open, I shrink, and my hand goes all the way to my thigh. Now I trap the triangle again. Once I trap the triangle, my goal is to slide my leg down to his wrist. So even if it's here, I slide it, and now the wrist is behind the crook of my knee. Now it's almost like a hand grabbing his wrist, but it's the back of my knee instead. My other hand here gotta go all the way through into the thigh, because if it stays on the wrist, you kind of get, you wrist lock yourself a little bit. It's not too good. So shoot the arm a little deeper, and then from there, all I need to do now is start twisting and making his arm get turned in the same motion as you're trying to do earlier, like elbow towards his head, and then wrist rotating like a Kimura. Hand on the ground. I can open my triangle now. Just make sure the pinch here is tight. I sit up, and then I twist. Hand across, turn, 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 push it down. What happened is I wasn't hugging his legs, so he rolled, and then I had to follow the row. If they ever roll, all you do is you're gonna follow, trap the triangle again, reopen after, and then go back to this. Hand on the inside, my butt sitting out, and then I'm kicking down. Tap where they can see, dude, nobody can see you. Tap, oh, there you go. All right, guys, if you guys enjoyed this technique, please like, leave a comment letting us know that you liked it, and subscribe to our channel to see more.